For this composition, we have f and g, and we're doing f of g. So it's not fog, but f of g, which is a composition. So in other notations, g is the inside function with -2 as the input, and then we're going to substitute the answer to that into f. So -2 goes into the inside function. The answer to that goes into the outside function. So if you wanted to, you could come over on the side and say, what is g of -2? So the function g is our input squared plus 1, where our input is -2. So -2 squared is 4 plus 1, which is 5. So that's g of -2. I'm going to erase that so that when I save this file, it won't be confusing maybe. So in place of g of -2, we're going to put the answer for g of -2. And then we're going to plug that into f. So f is 4 times the input minus 1. 4 times the input minus 1. So this time our input is 5, not -2. So 4 times 5 is 20, minus 1. So f of 5 is 19. Or we could say that f of g of -2 is 19. When we plug -2 into g and g into f, we get 19. So that's our composition. This one we only have one function, but we have the composition of a function with itself. But it works the same way once you understand what composition is. So this value goes into this function, the answer goes into that function. So -3 is going to go into the inside function called f. That answer goes into the outside function, which is also f. So we need to find f of -3. So when we substitute into the function f, let's put a parenthesis around our input everywhere we put it in. So -3 is squared times 2, -3 is times 7, and then minus 7. So -3 squared, -3 times -3 is 9 times 2, 7 times -3, and then minus 7. So 18 minus 21, that's -3. -3 minus 7 is -10. So when we plug -3 into our function, we get -10. So that's what that part is. F of -3 is -10. Now we're going to take that and plug into the function f also. So f of -10, I'll take our function and put a -10 in. And again, I'm putting parentheses around those just to make sure I don't get signs confused. So -10 times -10 is 100 times 2. It was -10 times -10 because it's -10 squared. Then we have 7 times -10, so positive times negative, minus 7. So that would be 130, 130 minus 7, 123. So f of -3 is 123. So then, if we have two functions, sometimes we're not given a specific number for an input. We're just asked to find the resulting function. Imagine that we were doing, for example, this one, and instead of finding only f of g of -2, we also had to find f of g of 7, f of g of 11, f of g of 0, and we had to evaluate this composition for lots of numbers. Well, if that were the case, it might benefit us to find a function that represents our composition and then plug our number into that new function. So if we're asked to find f of g of x, x is the input for g, and then that goes into f. So we don't have a number for g, so we can't get a numeric value, but we know that g is x squared plus 2x minus 4, and we're just substituting g of x for that. So that's what's going to go into f. So f is 3 times our input minus 4, where our input is that whole expression, x squared plus 2x minus 4. So we're plugging, let's do this. We're plugging that whole expression into the function called f. So 3 times that input, and then take away 4. 3 times the input minus 4. So if we distribute 3, we have 3x squared plus 6x minus 12 minus 4. So 3x squared, we have a 6x, minus 12 minus 4 is minus 16. So that would be f of g of x. Now, some things in math, order doesn't matter. 5 plus 8, 8 plus 5 gives you the same answer. 2 times 7, 7 times 2 gives you the same answer. But often, and probably more times than not, the order for composition matters. F of g and g of f often don't give you the same answer. So here we're plugging x into f, and then that answer goes into g. So whatever we get for there, that's the input for g. So in place f, we're going to put the function 3x minus 4, because that's the formula for f. And then we're going to put all of that into g. All of that into the function g. So the function g, remember, is x squared plus 2x minus 4. Let's double check that. X squared plus 2x minus 4. So everywhere we had an x, we're going to replace it with our input. So put in 3x minus 4 everywhere there was an x. Alright, so if we do our exponent, we're squaring a binomial, so you can write 3x minus 4 times 3x minus 4 and multiply that out. Or the shortcut is to square the first one, so 3x squared, 3x times 3x, 9x squared. It's their product, negative 4 times 3, so negative 12x twice. And then the second one squared. Negative 4 squared is 16. Then distribute the 2. 2 times 3x. 2 times minus 4. And then bring down the minus 4. So this is where we squared. That's where we distributed. And then we brought down the negative 4. So now combine like terms. So we have the 9x squared. Negative 24 plus 6 is negative 18x. 16 minus 8 is 8. Minus 4 is 4. And this was f of g. Notice those are not the same. We get different answers generally when we do our composition in the opposite order.